So I want to get into that, and that's going to be kind of what I want to spend some time on. But before we get there, I do want to talk about kind of your start to Family First Life. Like what did you do prior? How did you find Family First Life? And then how long did it take you to finally say, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a shot? Because I think everybody's starting point is different. It's easy for people to say, well, look at Grady now. Like that's so impressive. Like 3.6 million, sexy. But what it looked like prior and maybe the process to get there necessarily wasn't. So talk about where you were prior to coming to Family First Life.
Prior to Family First Life, I was lost. That might be a good describing word. Looking for something, had passion and zest for working hard, but never found the thing that I needed in order to be able to take care of my family the way I wanted. Right. It's always a good goal as a parent, father, a mother, a spouse, right? Someone that you've got goals, right? You've got goals the way you want to live your life. You've got goals the way you want to treat the people around you, goals the way you want to support the people around you. And I was kind of bouncing between different entrepreneurial opportunity. I did some MLM type stuff. Eventually I started a software company, which is very exciting. Learned a lot about marketing and online marketing, but never could get it to that sort of higher income level where I could really provide a great life for my family. Until I found FFL, and that was really the thing that has. It's been a rocket ship since day one of learning how to dial and learning how to get good at getting leads and learning how to deal with no-shows and managing my time and disciplining myself. This is a never-ending personal development program that has a massive compensation plan at the back end. That we all get to take part in and get to learn from others that are paving the same way. So I would say that I did a bunch of different little smaller entrepreneurial things, but was really kind of looking for this my whole life, man. I'm happy I found it.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what, I think many people are happy you found it. The people on your team, I'm happy you found it. Many people in the FFL are happy you found it. And that's one of the things that you've done, Grady, is you've set a higher standard, your progress to get to where you got, the speed to which you got there, and how you got there with social media, all the things that you attacked. And that's a beautiful thing about being a part of a company and a team like this. And that's why team is so important is, and I've grown and learned so much from you that I put into my business. I've been doing this 14 years and you come onto the scene. And I'm like, man, that makes sense. I need to tweak that. I need to adjust that. I need to do that better. And it impacts everybody. And so, but when you started, you kind of got put into like the Facebook group page and was checking it out for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
What changed? What kind of like, when was the point where you said, okay, now I'm willing to take that next step forward? And maybe talk about like what took you so long? Like what about what you had been through, where you were currently at that kind of kept you, not really wanting to jump in and maybe more skeptical and cynical about FFL initially?
That's true. It's very, so the 4 years prior to starting FFL, I'd started and was running a software company with some guys that I connected with that were really good at software. And I was kind of good at talking, and they did all the zeros and ones, and I did some of the marketing, and we built this business and provided us an okay paycheck. The upside was huge, right? You get in software and you think of Google and you think of Uber and you think of these massive companies. Well, there's hundreds of thousands of not Googles and Ubers that don't make it. And we were one of those that were just kind of struggling along. And so the way the mind works and the eye wanders and the goals progress, it is you're doing something, old mentor used to say, if you're doing something after 6 months, you're not making any money, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Right. And so we had something that was a business, it was making some money, but it'd been almost half a decade and I hadn't been able to get the, money saved up to buy a house or money put away to, upgrade my wife's car, and just like the little things that just, you would think that could come as a goal of applying more effort. That's the cool thing about FFL is if you want something that costs money, all you do is buy more leads and go run more appointments, and you can buy anything you want. Like that doesn't exist in a lot of traditional businesses, right? Restaurant wants to have a big month. They can't just 10x their ad spend and they flood the doors with customers, right? There's only so many seats and so much time and so much beef they can buy and so many people they can come in. And so that's the magical, or as Trevor Dunbar coined this phrase, the hidden universe of insurance sales. If you buy more leads, you can just change your life. And so for me, as I was kind of going through this software company that I was running and learning a lot, my mind and I was wondering about another life that I could, maybe this wasn't the thing that I thought was the thing. And fortunately, I ran into Andrew, and he, was not very talkative. and put me in, but he goes, hey, check out this Facebook group. There's a lot of us in here kind of talking about what we do. And so I got in the Facebook group and just started watching, right? That's a big thing. Just surveying, watching the leaderboards, watching how people talked, watching people treated each other. And that was one of the things that I think made it easier for me to make the decision to walk away from something that I'd built for 4 years. Was everyone was nice to each other. Everyone was very supportive of each other. Everyone was very encouraging. There was no like backbiting or nothing. There was no like negative talk or chatter. It was, and I think that's a good thing from a good admin standpoint of the group, but just protecting are there tough parts of this business? Sure. But overall, it's an amazing, positive, encouraging business. And so I saw the leaderboards. I saw the Joe Millers on there doing 5, 10K in a week. I saw Andrew on there. I saw you in there, and I'm like, what is this? Like, and it took me time, right? Like, I think that's the challenge with a lot of our new agents is, when we recruit someone, they're not coming from being broke, dumb, destitute, living homeless on their mom's couch. They have another career. They have a job. They have something they're doing. They might be in another company. It might be another sales industry. They're doing something to pay their bills, but it's not fulfilling them the way they want. And like for me, I was doing something else, making some money, but I wasn't being fulfilled the way that I wanted. And so it took me time to see. So I think that's a big thing about like where our email marketing type stuff works, and our continual social media posts, and our positive, encouraging Facebook group of getting prospects in there and letting them check out what we have and see that we're an open book. And that for me really worked. And it allowed me to have faith upon faith upon faith upon faith for weeks and months and nearly a year. That I think that like the behind the scenes, the rest of the story, I think I got contracted like in early 2017 and like didn't sell a policy. Like I sold like 3 policies in 2017, but I sold one in like August, and then sold one in October, and then I sold one before Christmas. And like, this was back trans paper apps, Paul. This is back in the day, bro. And I remember the first client, like she told me that she didn't trust me to come to her home, probably because I was terrible on the phone. So we met at a Village Inn, and it was like $96 a month, Transamerica, and we had apple pie after. And that was like, well, that was cool. And that was like December, and I had the faith, and I'm watching the group, and that was when my software company just started to really kind of take a different direction. And I'm like still watching the group and I took the leap, man. Took the leap in early 2018 and went for it. But I think I didn't take it sooner because I was scared, right? I think that's a lot of people. And I was nervous that I could provide for my family. I mean, it was me against the world. It wasn't, although this small paycheck that's coming from my software company, it was something, right? The warm bosom of a paycheck freezes a lot of people from taking that bigger leap to being self-employed. But unfortunate, January 3rd, 2018, I resigned from my software company. And then by January 10th, I sold my first policy as a real full-time, agent. After 10 appointments in the first week, didn't sell the first 9 and sold the 10th, Patricia P, $43 a month Eagle. And that started the rest of the story, man.